So we're doing this video for David and Ninette Tigner because David is going to help. Well, he's going to be the main man when it comes to the wiring here. All right, so this is the front porch. This is coming into the living room. And here's the ceiling here, and this is where I'm going to want a light there and a light over here, and then a hookup for a fan right there. And then I'm probably going to want a security light right over here on this eave facing out so it will hit that driveway, hit this whole area, have the dual, and that'd be good for that side. And then kind of the same thing on this side. Okay, and then also I want to have over there underneath that patio, I want to have probably just one light over the door and then a plug over there for Christmas lights with a switch inside. So here we come inside. Here's the house. There's going to be a television set there. You can see where the board is. So we're going to probably need a plug right above it. And then we're going to need a switch panel over, it's a little dark over here, switch panel over here for like the porch lights, the fan, security lights, and the interior lights coming in, because we're going to put lights. I haven't figured out how to measure it out yet, how many we're going to have and where we're going to have them. But then we're going to have a chair here, and we're going to have a chair here, and a table in the middle, so I want a plug here. And probably the fireplace is going to be over there, so probably a plug over here and then like another plug over here. So that should give enough plugs in this area right here. And then up there in that triangle above the door there is where the 50-foot hosed head for the mini split, the longest hose is going to go. It's going to have to go over the top and drop down there for the head right there. And then over here, here's where the washer and dryer are going to be. The refrigerator is probably going to be about right here. There's the TV mount for the bedroom. So the refrigerator will be right here, and then the stove is right in here somewhere. This is where the old pantry was going to start. So probably, so it looks like the stove is going to go right here. The stove's going to be here. I think that's how it's going to work out. Because you see a big line drawn on the ground right there. I think that's the end of the counter right here is the end of the counter. And then the stove's going to go there. And then there's going to be a little bit of a break between, yeah. So there's a stove line to there. And then the refrigerator is going to go over here, I think. I'm hoping that's how it's going to go. And then the sink is going to be here, so there'll be a garbage disposal here. And we'll probably put some switches and then GFI plugs here and a GFI plug over here to plug in whatever, microwaves or whatever. And then a switch for lights we're going to have overhead here. But we got to figure out how far out the cabinets are going to come, and then we can figure out whether, I think the lights are probably going to be in this row right here. Right up here. And then the washer and dryer go here. So we're going to need a 20 amp service, 110 here, and then a 30 amp service, 240 here, and a 60 amp service for the water heater, which this is the water heater. You can see it's an EcoSmart, and Eco 11 is what it's called. So you can see what we're going to need on that. And then the panel is probably going to be, let's see, it's got to be 3 feet away from the water. So it's probably going to go right here is where the panel's going to go. That's where the other guy was talking about, right in this area here. And so the water, the power line's going to come in this way, go into the panel, and then from here it's going to go out. It's going to go back and go out to the mini split is going to be on the other side of the wall right here. It's going to be outside on the wall. And then we are going to have plugs along the bottom of this over here, and along over here is going to be the pantry, but there'll probably be maybe 1 or 2 plugs in there, maybe one more here. And then we'll need light switches.
This is the small
The
bedroom.
door's going to open that way, so probably the light switches will be here. There'll be a bed here, and we'll need plugs around here. There'll be bunk beds over here, so there'll be a couple of plugs here, a plug there, plug. And then here's the other bathroom. This is a guest bathroom. The door's going to slide open this way. And we're going to need, we got a light for over the sink and the mirror. So that's handled.
That's the light.
Yeah, and then the toilet's going to be here. So we'll probably need 1 or 2 lights up in here.
One over the toilet, one over the shower.
1 over the toilet, 1 over the shower. And here's a fart fan, which is that's pretty much in the right spot. We got to trail out the exhaust. And I think we'll need a plug by this, probably just in this corner over here, a GFI plug. And then probably maybe a plug over here on this wall somewhere. We don't really need anything. We can't put it around there. So if we did another one, it'd probably be in this little hole right here. And then we'll probably have just 3 lights here going down the center. The lights we have, here's the lights. Let's see, we got 40 of these. These are LEDs, they're dimmable, they're warm light. And here's the boxes. So there's the information on the box. Can you see that?
I can send you a still shot of that if you need.
And here's the light.
Again, I can
I'm trying to
send a
keep it
still
where
shot.
it's not in the shade, so you can see it lit up. Okay, so there's that, and there's that light. We got to figure out how far off we're gonna do the lights. But the one of the 25-footer lines is going to come in over here, and it's going to come into this room facing that way on the wall up high. And on this side over here, the other 25-footers are going to come around and be on this side of the wall facing that way for the bedroom. And then, like I say, the one over there. So then there's probably, if we're going to have a double switch, it's probably going to be here, and then it'll be to turn on the bedroom lights, and that's probably all it would need would be, like to go in here, turn that on, and then have a switch over here by this door.
Well, you need a switch from the bedroom up in here to turn on one of these
Right.
lights.
Well, we just turn on the dining room light in here. There'll be the kitchen light will be over there by that window by the power. This would just turn on the dining room light where it would light up enough in the room to
And
walk
one
forward.
over here too, for the same,
Okay.
coming out of that bedroom.
All right. And then that one over there will just be for the living room. We won't need to have 2 and 2. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Just have one over there, and then the porch light and the fan. And then in here, see, the thing is the plug is not going to be able to be like where these are going to be right here, because that would be into part
Drywall
of the foundation.
Oh,
This is because things got a little wackadoodled with the blocks, so it wasn't going to be possible to level it with the blocks. So what ended up happening is they manufactured a section and put it in there, but that's solid wood, it's not hollow. And this is solid. So we'll have to, if we're gonna put plugs on this wall, they're gonna have to be up here. Maybe one here and one here. And
You were
one
talking
here.
about building like something down underneath here anyway for storage.
Right.
So
Would be kind of like something that would come out like this and come down and end right here at the stairs. And probably come over most of the way over here and then leave a spot in the corner here. And then the bed is going to be right here. So we're going to have plugs and plugs. And we want to have one of the two plugs that are here will be like where you can turn the light switch on and that will turn on lamps.
From over
bedroom
here.
lamps, okay? Over on that wall. And then over there'll be a switch for the light outside. And then we're gonna have overheads in here. And I think we're probably, boy, I wonder how bright those lights are. Because should we have 2 rows or 1 row? We could have like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That would probably be plenty of light in here. And put it on a dimmer. And then in here is the bathroom. And I want a light over the toilet on a dimmer. And a light over the shower on a dimmer. And this blower, this sucker over here is going to have to move over here.
they put it in the wrong spot.
They put it in the wrong spot. And then we're going to get a light, a mirror, a 3-way mirror, and a light here. And then probably a plug in the switch for this light here. We have switches on. Just going to open. We have to open that way. So when you come in, the light switch will be here on this left side for that light. The fart fan. No, we don't even have to do that. We can put a switch right here for the light and the fart fan for the toilet and the shower. And then have a light here. We could do it for that. And then have 2, because this is going to be the dressing area right here where you get dressed. So we can put 2 lights above it here, and that would light that up real good. And then we're going to need lights in our closets, 1 on each side, because this is going to be our closet right here. And there'll be my door, your door, and there'll be storage underneath, but we won't need lights for that. But when you open the closet, I like to be able to see in there, so might even put lights in that. So then we got a plug here, and then we'll have a plug over here under this window, and where it runs off a light switch and a regular power plug. So I don't know whether you put how you do that. If you have one, the top one plug is a light switch, and the bottom one is power. And do it that way. I've seen it where the constant one is on the bottom, and then or the other way around. On the bottom would be your light, your lamp light with a switch, and then the top one would be constant power for like a vacuum cleaner or something. There's going to be another fireplace, potbelly stove right here, the small one. May not be a bad idea to put a plug somewhere in here. I think that's maybe one here too, huh? What do you think?
Yeah.
Plug here. And then out here, I think maybe just 1 light here, huh? Or 2.
I don't know. Like you said, it depends on how bright they are. But I think just 1.
I think 1 would be enough. And then I
Look what
want
we
to
got
have.
up there.
Huh?
Look what we got up there already.
Yeah, I seen that.
Hornet's
Saw that
nest.
yesterday. And then over here,
Like outside floods or
yeah, I want to
sensor.
flood over here, and I want to be able to plug in right in here somewhere, an external plug-in for Christmas lights with a switch inside. So when it's Christmas time, we can just flip on the lights, and then an outside plug over there on our other porch, which is going to have the barbecue and all that stuff.
And a light in the.
It's going to have 2 lights over there on that porch. That should be enough, wouldn't you think? I hope so.
Fan.
And a fan. I already said that. So right here is where the mini split is going to go, right here on this wall. Probably the bottom of it about right here. Because this is actually, still an RV spot. So what I'm thinking is, we'll build a little box and set it over the top of it. And then that way, if we need to use it, we can actually put a little trap door on the side and they could still run a hose in there. And then our electrical is going to come in from over there, straight across, and come up right here and go in the wall. So it's going to be just a little bit to the left of this. We're 8 feet from there in is where the wall's at. And that's where that's going to go. So this has to get dug down straight across from there and figure out exactly where it's going to go in over here to get where it's got to, just to get it so it comes over and then sweeps up and goes in. Can't think of anything else we're going to need. I think we're pretty good with that. What you think?